Okay. Next up, speaker number 2. With the passing of Pope Francis and the recent passing of her Spanish host father from her days as an exchange student, Rebecca Eggleton reflects on the death of her own father 8 years ago in her Pathways Connect with Storytelling speech titled The Journey of Eternal Life. Please welcome Toastmaster Rebecca Eggleton.
Raymond Donald Cusson, my dad. He died March 1st, 2017, nearly 89 years old. Dad was in quality control in a manufacturing plant. He was an award-winning foster parent with my mom to over 40 children. He volunteered for decades for the Lions Club, the Medical Loan Closet, helping those in need. He was an amazing man. He also had a very strong Catholic faith. My parents would come down and visit me during the winter months. They were in Rochester, New York, and they had the most brutal winters up there. So they were looking to come to Florida for a few months. My kids got to know Grandma and Grandpa, and I loved my time that they came down for. They were married for 57 years. Mom was the social partner of the relationship. Dad was quiet, reserved. He was a thinker. So they arrived in December 2016, and Dad arrives with this horrible cough. Like, Dad, we're going to the urgent care today. So we go to the urgent care, they take an x-ray, and the doctor says, I don't like what I see on here. I think you need to go to the emergency room. All right, off we go to the emergency room. They run a few more tests, and they decide they need to keep him overnight. And that evening, though, they looked at it and they said, yes, we see some issues with the lungs. It's not cancer, is it? No, it's not cancer, but there's some issues. We'll do some more evaluation. So the next day, the A team now comes on in the hospital, and they reevaluate everything, and they tell me, and they tell my dad and my mom, it is indeed cancer. So we go home, he's released, and we're referred to an oncologist. After the holidays, we go visit, a few more tests, and she advises us that it's small cell lung cancer. And that's the aggressive form. So he could do chemotherapy, but chemotherapy would give him maybe 6 months, and Dad decides to opt for hospice. Doctor says, maybe 2 months, maybe 4 months. It's very aggressive. So, hospice comes into my home. They bring in the hospital bed. They ask difficult questions. Do you want a DNR? Do not resuscitate. Dad, what do you want to do? They talk about pain medication. Don't let the pain get too far, because if you wait too long, it's really hard to have the medication work. They showed me how to administer morphine, which he needed towards the end of his days. There were times when I thought to myself, can I do this? And I prayed, and I got strength from God. And there were other times where I thought, I got it. And then I realized, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have this. I remember one of the days I had frequently had to sterilize his nebulizer, which is a way that you can have medication. It helps with the breathing, and you do it several times a day. The unit gets sterilized, boiled through water. So I was sterilizing it, done it so many times, I really wasn't thinking. And I'm gonna go for a walk. Mom's there with Dad, everything is good. I go out to be with my friend, and the next thing you know, after a little bit of time, I get this call from my mom. And she said, "The fire alarm company is on the phone right now. There's smoke in the house." And I can hear in the background, "Fire, fire, get out. Fire, fire, get out." Should I let the fire truck come? Yeah, Mom, if there's smoke in the house, I think we need to have the fire truck come. I don't know if I can get your father out. My dad's on oxygen at this time. I'm like, "Mom, you can do it." So at this point now, I'm sprinting back home. I'm not a runner. I'm running as fast as I can, try to help my mom in case she can't get Dad out of the house. I arrive, the fire truck is there. I, of course, had left the nebulizer inside the pot. All the water had evaporated, stove was still on, it's melting, created a small fire, smoke through the kitchen. Yeah, I think I need some help here. Yeah. Fortunately, many friends and many family members, my family members had helped, came and supported me. One of my friends actually brought Holy Communion to my dad each week, which was a blessing. And in that process, my mom, who was also Catholic, had not had her sacrament of First Communion. And so it was a God moment through this process. My mom decided to make her Holy Communion before my dad died. You know, this was my first experience of losing somebody and being very much close to someone who was dying. And you think you learn like the signs to look for, but it's hard to tell. Quite honestly, I found it difficult. So at one point I did call the priest for last rites, but Dad held on for a bit longer. And then it got closer and hospice came more frequently. And I knew then that the day was potentially this one particular day. So we all said our goodbyes and had our time with Dad. And my best friend called me and said, you need to get back into the room because you don't know when that's going to happen. And sure enough, I went back into the room and I announced, "Dad, I'm back." And he took his last breath and passed. I think he was waiting for my return. May you rest in peace, my dear Dad.